Hello and welcome back to another video. So this time we're going to be having a little bit of a chat about the new Hearthstone expansion, which is called the Curse of Naxxramas. Now this video will be split into two parts. First of all, I'll just talk about the new adventure mode and essentially what a raid is in Hearthstone. And then after that, I'll talk a little bit about the new cards that we have got to see. But first of all, this new raid, what is it? Well, basically it's this thing called adventure modes, and you'll be able to go through the various wings of Naxxramas and earn loot. And by loot, I mean cards. You'll fight bosses, and then eventually you'll fight the end boss for the place, and all the different bosses have got unique hero powers, and then they will also have a unique hero-specific card. So every single one is probably going to require a little bit of a different strategy and that kind of thing, which I think is definitely a very cool way of doing it. And yeah, so you make your way through, and by the time you get to the very end, you fight the end boss, and if you kill the end boss of a wing, you'll get a legendary for free. Now, I don't know how repeatable that is to get legendaries, so I don't know if you'll just be able to farm legendaries from it. I would certainly hope not. It would diminish the idea of them being legendaries. But still, I think this is a very cool way of doing Hearthstone. Now, I'm not too sure exactly what the user interface or anything like that is going to look like for adventure modes, and I'm not really specifically sure about any of the game systems because, well, they haven't announced it yet. Maybe we'll find out more later on. But, essentially, it's a mini raid, you get some nice loot at the end. Now, another thing that they've said about these adventure modes, and Naxxramas in particular, is that you will have these 9 different class challenges, all like within the Curse of Naxxramas expansion. So I'm assuming there's just a fight or two that is tailored to each class that's meant to be extremely hard. And if you complete those, then you will be rewarded with a new class-specific card, which you can add to your collection, which seems pretty cool. So yeah, that's basically it overall. Now, the Curse of Naxxramas will open up over the course of 5 weeks, wing by wing, every week, of course. The first week is the Arachnid Quarter, which is free to all players, so you'll be able to go in no matter what. But then the further wings will cost either money or in-game gold. Now, I've got like 1,000 gold saved up in-game, because sometimes I just pop in and do daily, so I can't see gold really being a massive issue. Anyway, once each new wing is released, the cards available in that wing will also show up in your arena picks, even if you haven't earned them for your personal collection. So overall, that does seem like a pretty consumer-friendly way to do it. You'll be able to fully access the new expansion without paying any money. So for a lot of people, that is going to be rather appealing. And overall, it just sounds like a very interesting thing to do for Hearthstone. Alright, so let's talk about some of the new cards. So the first one, that they've only shown 5 by the way, but the first one is the Undertaker. And this is a 1 mana cost, 1 attack, and 2 health card. And whenever you summon a minion with Death Rattle, it gains 1/1. That's very cool, and minions like the Undertaker allow for people to make different kinds of decks that are maybe based around a different gimmick or something like that. So overall, Undertaker, pretty nifty card actually. I'd imagine actually, yeah, Undertaker into Blood Mage Thalnos would be a very powerful play that would only cost you 2 mana, so that seems very cool, and I'm guessing there's other similar plays that you could do. Alright, actually hell, even just Undertaker and then Loot Hoarder would work. Then next we have the Shade of Naxxramas, 3 mana, 2 attack, 2 health, and at the start of your turn it gains 1/1, and it's stealthed. So that is a very interesting and potentially very dangerous card. Depending on the enemy's deck, that could spiral out of control. I suppose it just depends. Yeah, like how long would the player who uses that card want to just keep it stealthed and wait for it to gain power? Because I'm going, obviously, like as soon as you reveal it, it's probably going to be killed by your opponent next turn. Still though, another really interesting card. Okay, so next we have the Nairobian Egg. This is 2 mana, 0 attack, 2 health, but when it dies, you summon a 4/4 Nairobian. Once again, that would synergize well with the Undertaker. And in terms of value, if you can like reliably kill that, it's pretty good. Say if you're a priest and you have a Holy Smite, then I guess that would be a 4/4 creature for 3 mana, which would be pretty decent. Especially if you could coin into it, or yeah, like coin into it in turn 2 or something like that. Still though, interesting card. It would also shut down something like, say, a Paladin's Consecrate. So that's definitely a card which has positioned itself very well within the game, and it would shut down some things. Hell, even some of the Shaman AoE removal. Okay, so next we have Dancing Swords, which is 3 mana, 4 attack, 4 health, but its Death Rattle is that your opponent draws a card. So it's a little bit less interesting, though it's certainly good value for the mana, but that opponent drawing a card is a serious problem. So I'm not too sure exactly how good that would be. Still though, in terms of your on the board momentum for turn 3, that's pretty strong. I suppose. Though it's no, Yeti's like 4 or 5 for 4, isn't it? Yeah, so Yeti would be better, but you can play it in turn 3, which I guess is the strength there. Alright, anyway, so next we have Baron Riverdare as the main, I think, legendary. So this is an interesting one. Your minions will trigger their death rattles twice. But like, look, if you look at the card, it's 4 mana, 1 attack, 7 health. Bizarre card, actually. Very bizarre card. It's one that would synergize very well with a certain kind of deck, but in general would be pretty useless. So it's an interesting way to go, and it's probably the right way to do a card like that. It's a legendary. It's very niche. That's generally what legendaries kind of are. Apart from maybe some of the really powerful dragons, and just some of those legendaries that are flat out very good. And then finally, they're going to be putting in a new game board. It's basically a Naxxramas themed one. Honestly, it looks pretty nice, so overall, I'm happy about that. I'm sure there'll be lots of new things that we can click and procrastinate with. Anyway, that's basically it for this video. Let me know what you think about the new expansion and the iPad release and that kind of thing. And thank you very much for watching, and I will see you next time.